Hello. So today, 2 seconds. Just tweeting the stream out. There we go. Just testing the chat. I guess I didn't show up in chat. Cool. Let's see. It's because the chat looked kind of creepy. Where? Oh, I might double up the audio there. It's more weird. That work? Oh, that still looks like harsh. Typo thing. That should be enough. Okay. Tweak this. This. That'll do. Right. Okay. Nearly ready. started. So I'm trying. Oh, my voice cracked. I'm trying a different way of the camera being organized, so I might accidentally punch the lead and disconnect it, so apologies if that happens. There we go. So the guys I did last week, I finished up, so you can see them here. So you can see how they came out pretty good. So, let me unfreeze my phone here. So yeah, I think they came out pretty good. So that's the beards, the skin, the textures. So I really do love the blue and almost took a drink out of the wrong thing. The way the blue and the yellow comes out looks really good, in my humble opinion. So hopefully this way around, I am giving you a reverse hug. I'm hugging you from behind. But hopefully this way is a little bit more easy to see what's going on. So I have these guys. They've got 6 little fellas, all done. They are, well, not all done, but they have the base coat and the wash done. So they just need to have the highlights done for the base coat that's done. The skin needs done and the beards needs done. So I'll go and do that today. And also I'll do the bases today as well. So you can see the base here is a nice like brown. It's supposed to look like a cave pattern. So I'll show you actually. So obviously on the rank and file it doesn't look too hot. But on the bigger based models, so like the gyrocopters and stuff that I have finished, so it should look like a cavern layer. The inspiration for this was Dwarf Fortress, like going into the cavern layer and having the dwarves fight down there. And I thought that would be really cool for like a dwarf army in Old World or fantasy. So I made a couple of these up. So not all of them are painted yet, but I've got a couple of these like nice bases with like the stalactites and stuff. You can see like the stalactites. This is a gyrocopter base. Yeah, came out pretty good. But the idea, that's the idea. That's the idea for the bases, where they're just like a plainish brown. So whenever you have the bigger models next to it, you can see the cavern and stuff that they're supposed to be fighting in. But yeah, let's get to it. So generally, the way I like to do this is you can either do all the layer now, so I can go over all this bit, but I might do beards. And then flesh, and then while we're waiting for the wash on the beards to dry. Ooh, all right.
Cut married after 4.
Okay.
Were you
streaming? Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, so we're gonna do the beards. So we'll do the beards, and once we get the beards done, we put a wash on the beards. We do the base. And then when we do while we're doing the base, or while we're waiting for the base to dry, the beard should have dried. Then we can do the white for the flesh. While we're waiting for that to dry, we go back, put a wash on the base. And whenever that's done, we highlight the beards, and then the skin, and then the rest of the model. So you can either do the highlight now, or you can do the highlight later on. Doesn't really matter. But I think we'll do the beards. So I'm going to be using these today. So normally, I don't like doing ginger, but we're going to try a slightly lighter shade of orange on a couple of these guys just to see how it looks. So the beards on these guys are mostly black, like this guy. This guy's brown beards. So the brown beards are the ones that tend to come out the best. The hair. And then this guy's a blondie. And blonde's really easy, so you just do the yellow and then the wash, and you don't have to highlight it because they're all dirty blonde. And then grey is even easier because you just grey and then null oil, and that's sort of it. Yeah, let's get to it. So we'll start with the ones I know. So we want to pair them up in a sort of smart-ish way. So we don't want to do this guy blonde because he's got yellow there. It won't look too bad. I mean, because green, no yellow on the base. So ideally, those are the best ones to do blonde because there's no yellow to compare it to. But we'll see. We can probably get away with it once or twice, but I don't know. I don't really like. It's too easy to compare. So I think we'll do brown. Oops, you're yellow. We'll do, yeah, these two can be blonde, and then these two can be our test orange guys. Let's see how it goes. Also, let me know if the music's too loud. Apologies if the mic. Hold on, let me turn the gain down a little bit. That might be causing that little interference there. It sounded alright whenever I tested it, but yeah, just let me know if there's any. There we go. Hopefully that stops that. There's a gate, but because I've been moving the mic about a lot. I think I've been knocking the gain, so it's sort of messing with the gate a little bit. What do I say? We're doing brown first, so give it a good shake. And then there we go. Let me roll my sleeves up. And then we need the 0, which is this one. This is how much I use these. The 0 has come off this brush. A little bit of paint. I just use a dry palette in the sense that I just sort of dry the brush and then just go straight out of the pot. With things like brown, the hard color is yellow. But with things like brown, it's a little, let me just make sure I've got this in a good spot here. I want to be a little careful. We want to try to avoid getting as much on his skin as possible. So what I might do, I might test what the skin tone looks like on just this default grey base primer that I put on. Quite a rich brown. Just to see how it comes out, to see if I can save time just having to paint white over it. I like how pale they come out whenever white, which helps with the look of them being in the cavern. And the slightly dirtier tones that you can get away with. It's very nice. There we go. It's coming out nice and clean. Not too bad, not too bad. This is a little awkward for me because my phone is directly in front of my face. But I think it's better for camera. I need a light. I might get I think I have a lamp which I'll set up next time. Just have that set up in the corners. I think I need a light source like coming down from here behind me over my shoulder. So paint isn't coming off the brush, which is one of two things. Either means the brush is too dry or there's no paint on the brush. There we go. So be quite a bit of rotating the model here. But yeah, big success. So last week the stream went pretty well. Got a couple people subscribing off it, which is nice. We're 3 off 50 subscribers, which I know is like a silly thing, but I'm quite excited for it. Pretty big milestone. Brush is dry. Wet it. There we go. Generally, if the paint's coming off too fast, means the brush is too wet. If the paint's coming off too slow, the brush is either too dry or there's not enough paint on the brush. Bit of an odd one that there is too, but hey, whatever. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, me too. They are my first army that I ever got for this whenever I was 12. I got the Battle for Skull Pass, and ever since then I've loved dwarves. Oh, thank you for the subscription, and that has changed that loadout again. God damn. But yeah, I got the Battle for Skull Pass, and ever since then I've loved the dwarves. I do love the goblins. The Skull Pass goblins are hilarious. Like the one that he's like being pasted by the cannonball. Brilliant. Bit watery, but I think we're okay. Bit more paint. So yeah, as I said, we've got the base done. Did it yesterday off camera. So all we're really focusing on is the hair, the base for the actual model, and the skin. But that's the first beard done. So, force of habit, I don't know why I do it, but I always wet the brush and restart whenever I start a new model. It's not a very good habit, very wasteful, but hey. The edge on this brush is gone, man. Try and get that as close as I can. Unusable. There we go. A bit. Good. I love the mustaches. I don't know why. Just painting mustaches is so fun. You don't really get it whenever you paint like any other faction. So the only other fantasy faction I think I really paint is Dark Elves. And Goblins, I guess. Orcs don't have beards. Oop, it's way off camera, sorry. Don't be afraid to shout if I've accidentally moved it off camera. This is a new position I'm in. Testing it from last week. I think it's way better. Does it feel like I'm giving you a hug? Because of the position of the camera? Like leaning over your shoulders? Painting right in front of you. Yeah, it's coming together. Love it. This nice light base coat that I put on was not to toot my own horn, but it was a genius move because this is so much easier to paint than going over black. Oh, I forgot to... You know what I forgot to do in the description? I forgot to link the music playlist. Ghost style, yeah. We've got some cool World of Warcraft lo-fi in the background while we while we reenact the scene from Ghost. No Ghost. Is this better, Kaya, than last week? This position. I think it's easier to see what's going on. Like. Oh my goodness. What do you do when your webcam starts getting a phone call? That's good. Alright. Sorry mate. There you go. I think it's a call center. Anyway, so it's not like it's anybody important. Oh god. I'm a bit late today. I wanted to start streaming like an hour ago. But I got distracted because I got my renewal notification for my car insurance, so I had to sort that out. Hunjin. That'd be good. Oh, this paint pot's like in the worst spot. Let's move it over there. Such a pain to get to. These brushes are so bad for holding on to water. I think I like the name Paintacular for the stream name, by the way. So I think I'll get a thumbnail done up for it. Oh yes, and then last week I just finished that guy's beard off. Very nice, it's a bit thin there. A little quick coat, that should be it. I'm not too fussed if it's, you can see some of the grey coming through. Because whenever we do the wash on it, it'll cover up the grey with a nice tone. It'll just sort of look like a lighter shade of brown. So I'm not too fussed really on the thickness of the paint. We just need to make sure that we've got coverage over every little strand that this poor bastard has. You'd think there'd be more bald dwarves, but they all have like fantastic hair. They've gone halfway down their back. I don't think I've ever... The skull past dwarves I don't think have this, where they're like... hair is going like way down their backs. The lighting's a lot better where I'm sitting at the minute. It makes it easier to see. Yeah, what I wanted to show was, so this shade of green for the cloak. Last week I was worried about how it would look compared to this, so the darker green. Is it coming out? Yeah. So the dark green isn't bad, but I do like this lighter green more. So I just went full hog with this because it looks way better on the finished guys than it does. There's a finished one, so you can see it's not too different, but yeah, it's easier to highlight. I think it looks slightly better. It breaks up the green because this guy's got the green, dark green, like armor shirt on. It looks a lot better. They do. The luscious locks, yeah. They're all secretly Fabio. Alright. So, next one. These next two will be blondes. Let's make sure it's not got any paint on it yet. Nice and dry. So, give it a good shake. Did I pick up? That's the right one. Okay. Right. So the shield guys, I hate painting them. Makes you so paranoid that I'm going to get a little bit on the shield. They're done. Side of his mustache. I can't really see the other side. Make sure there's not any excess paint. The brush get a nice fine edge. And oh yeah, sorry. There's a bit in there. We just need to get his hair. I think I got a little bit on the shield. I did. You're ever worried about making a mistake, you can always usually get it. And then where it is, I can cover that up with a layer later, so this is why I didn't do the highlights. Yeah. We can cover that up with a highlight later, not have to worry too much about corrections. Yeah, where I'm sitting, I'm way closer to the monitor than I was last week, so I can actually read chat, which is nice. And it's pretty easier for me to tell what is and isn't a good spot for holding it. But if I do hold it up out of sight, don't be afraid to yell in the chat. I hate yellow paint. I hate it so much. I don't know if the camera's catching it, but it's like balling up in such a weird, annoying way. Again though, because it's his hair, we don't really have to worry too much about the coverage. So if it's a little thin, is what I mean, it's fine, because it's a lighter base coat underneath. It'll just look like his hair is either slightly lighter or maybe even a little bit grey whenever we apply the wash later. So that's fine. Hair I'm not too worried about for yellow. Have it look a little blotchy. Fine, a bit more natural looking. The problem comes in whenever you're painting the armor underneath. Such a hassle. Takes forever. Obviously your armor wouldn't be going grey. This brush is fucked. I've tried shampooing it, but it just splits like that in the middle. The pain. Like wash it and get another nice point on it till it dries out. There we go. Sorry if you see me wiggle my thumb. It's a bit, my hand's a bit stiff today. I was about to sneeze. Yeah, you can see it's a little blotchy. We could do another pass of yellow after once it dries. That'll thicken it out, but again, I think it's fine for his hair. Yeah, I'm not going to be too worried about it. As I said, just give it a slightly more natural look, just to make sure there's no yellow on my fingers. And then next boy. Give it another wash just to get the edge back on the brush. This is another little trick you can do to get your edge in your brush. Spin dry up. Sharpen it like a pencil in your hands. You can see this brush is starting to go. Which is fine, I mean it's almost 2-3 years old, so they tend to not last too much longer than that. So get them into a nice little spot so I can remember. There we go. Once again, this guy's shield is like right up his face. The quality mustache in that guy, fucking hell, look how far down that goes. Careful. Yeah, testing what the flesh will look like, or the flesh speed paint I got will look like on the this light color, this light basing color, just to see a good shot. Yeah, it's hair up there, so we can give that blonde. One's probably having a conniption because of how thick the paint is, but I hate doing yellow. All you have to do is be careful, really. It's not too hard. If you're ever worried about skill when it comes to this, all you have to do is go slow. Take your time. Just watch what you're doing, make sure that you're not making a mistake. Then just go slow. That helps you avoid it. Be careful. And this nice little silver bangle he's got in his beard. These dwarves are dripped out of their mind though, they've got so much gold and silver jewellery hanging off them. Again, even if you make a little mistake there and you go over onto the silver or the gold, it'll just look like his hair's sort of over it. Then just get the back of it and his little side bit there, just behind his shield. He's blondified. I hate this brush. I hate this brush so much. Oh, we're onto the Skyrim lo-fi. This guy doesn't have long, luscious locks. He's got like two little tufts at the side of his head that I'm complaining. Yeah, I think the only problem with this position is it will focus on my hand more than the model, which is a bit unfortunate, but I am checking the camera just to make sure that it's then focused. Don't have to worry too much about the back, as long as you can, the bit you can see is sort of yellowed. That should be good enough. Yeah, she has quite a nice cover. Alright, so that's the blondes done. Next, we'll try our, what is it they prefer, strawberry blondes. So again, good shake, nice mix. The good thing about the Citadel paints is they are designed for beginners, so they're usually mixed quite well in the tub. So all you need to really do is shake them up to get a good sort of supply in that little lid bit there. And then that's you good to go for the most part. Sometimes they have some that go a little funny. Yellow is one that tends to go bad. Sometimes the browns can go a little off. So yeah, this guy's got a nice mustache too. He's also got a gold border on his shield, so the orange actually won't show up very well on him. I was thinking about this just because I wanted a different color than blonde, black, and brown to mix in. Obviously ginger is like the natural next like Viking Celtic style hair color, which is what the dwarves are kind of based on. But in dwarf lore, I don't know how natural like red hair is, because it is something that they dye their hair orange to become a slayer. So it must be just like one of those things where you're like a really unlucky dwarf if you're born with like naturally red hair. So this is quite nice and light, so it's quite different to the slayer color. We might end up doing it. We'll see how it looks after the wash, because obviously the wash is going to take it down the tone. It looks slightly darker once we get it washed. I say wash, what I do is more of a glaze than a wash, but glazing and washing are the same thing effectively. This paint is another one that doesn't really want to come and play ball with us. And because it's a shade of orange, anything brown should be not too harsh. We're getting stakes and little drips on it. Off to the Slayer Keep, you're never allowed in proper dwarf society the rest of your life. Yeah, this might need an actual another layer over it when it dries. We'll see, we'll see. So. Yeah, I think the next thing to get is a little light source just to have over my shoulder. Make it easier. I think I just got paint in my hat, my glasses. That's what you get for scratching your temple with a paintbrush. I'm gonna have another stream that gets ended by my blood sugar going low. Good. Time is it? 3:30. We'll probably go to 5, I think. I should be good for that, at least. I'll have to take a break at 4 for like a couple seconds, just. I quite like the idea of just having these little shorter painting streams. I tried looking up painting streams to see if I could find any good ones, just to kind of see how they do their camera work. And the only one I found was like, the guy had a crazy setup. He had this camera like strapped to the roof over his shoulder, so you're like, the way it was set up was he had like a monitor so he could see everything in front of him, and then he had the camera set up on like attached to the ceiling, so it looked like you were looking over his shoulder while he was painting, and he had like a close-up cam. But it was like a very professional looking setup, so I looked at it and went, well, I can't imitate that. That's a lot of cameras. That came out really well. I quite like that. It looked really good when it washed. The paint in the tub is a little funny. I have 2 of these, don't I? Yeah. This might be the older one. Yeah, it looked really cool. It did look like he was like jacking into the Matrix though, the way he had like all the wires set up around him. And he had like I'm saying about getting a light source just over my shoulder. He had like a pair of glasses and like a headlight. Oh, you know what? I could get a headlight strap actually. That's maybe not a bad idea. But yeah, he had a headlight strap and like glasses with lights on them and like magnifying glasses and stuff. I was like, what? This is like this guy's preparing to like go on a deep exploration of like some sort of intricate mine system. He's about to go cave diving. But I couldn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just YouTube doesn't have a whole lot of them. But like whenever I looked it up on YouTube, I found like one guy was the only recommendation I got. I know paint foo. You were distracted, Neo, by the dwarf with the red beard. Shield's making it a bit awkward. Apologies, there's no real good angle to show you this. This is deep in. There's no way I could get a camera to look it up. But yeah, trying to get it just under the shields and their axes is a bit of a faff. If it were me, I would have built them all with two-handed, like, great weapons, like two-handed weapons. It's way easier to get around them. See way more detail on the model. Obviously, shield, sword and board looks cool whenever you have like a bunch of guys with a sword and a shield on the battlefield. But we're getting there. So this is the last beard that we have to do. While we wait for this to dry, we'll do the base on the model. I'll go get my big brush for that though. Yeah, there we go. Oh, his hair. Of course. Did I forget your hair? No. You always forget something. You just get into the habit of double checking it. Missed a bit in there and there. I think that's supposed to be his armor down there, but to be honest, it's such a like weird spot. I'll just paint it the same color as his hair and it'll look no different. Alright, so that's the beards done. So next, the bases. I'll go get my big brush. Actually, have to drink water too. So this brush holds water like a motherfucker. It is bad for it. But it's actually quite a good thing for painting bases. Sorry, I'm shaking the paint. I really ran out of this. I'm gonna have to get another tub soon. So this, we can be a little bit more careless. Obviously, we don't want to get too much on the mini. But it's alright if you get a little splash on like their armor or their feet or something. That's all good. So this brush didn't actually hold any water this time at all. Does my head shadow show up? Yeah, it does. No paint on this. But this is paint starting to actually go. Put a mixing bowl in there. Get a little bit more out of it. Yeah, nice big flat brush like this makes getting under their little. They're quite all dwarves are quite close to the ground like that, and they all have this little like skirt. Normally, sometimes the plate guys I think have like legs, don't they? You don't have a skirt. Yeah, it's like the bigger plate guys have like an actual like raised bit. These heavy armor dudes, they all have little male skirts on. Get a bit more paint on this just to speed this up a bit. And again, you see this very long brush is whacking off the camera. There we go. So recently I've gotten into the habit of writing down how I do base layers. I don't know why, but I've just sort of become obsessed with like base and minis. You know, we just want to avoid getting too much dirt on the cloak. It's fine to have like a bit of dirt or dust, so a little bit's okay, as long as it's towards the bottom. Although in real life you would get like dust the whole way up your cloak. There we go. Sure, you got a little bit of abuse there. That's okay. Yeah, I think what I might do in future is just the same thing where I get like a little set of guys ready to go and just sort of paint, show the different stages of painting. The highlight stage only takes like 10 minutes though. It's probably the shortest part of the whole thing. It does make them look the best part though. I would say it's the best, the most highlighting is like what brings your models from like being good to being great. But it doesn't take very long, so I'm using a lot of paint here, but you can see why I run out on this. I think part of it is to do with how I did the sand on the base. I should have done another layer of PVA glue over the top of it, because I think the way it is at the minute, it sort of soaks up the paint a little bit. It's very annoying. I think it's drying out the brush a little too. Even though it's already got a base coat over it. It's kind of like a little bit of paint getting sucked up. But this is a good little step to sort of do in between. So after you've got your like, you could even do it after you do your base coats. You do the base and then you like, is this fucked? No. Close it upside down, shake it. Let you get it flowing a bit. It's very thick. Brown is another one that tends to go a bit skew with. They usually make it with yellow. You know what, I could even just do this down there. God, this Brian does not want to play ball at all. You want to be a bit careful with his beard. I might get a smaller brush to go under this guy because his beard's going to be in the way. Anybody else have this beard? No. Might see. There might be a couple of guys that need some special treatment. The dwarves would absolutely not like getting mud or dirt on their beards, and they would go out of their way to avoid it. I'll have to come back to him, put him there. Get a smaller brush and go in between. I think it's very important that you... Sorry, gee, this brush probably needs to be wet a bit. I always think it's very important whenever you're painting to come up with a little story for your dudes. Or like even just the lore of the setting, like the accepted lore. Try to paint with that in mind. Helps add a bit of character to your models, IMO. I talked about it last week, but the best way to paint is to treat it like it's, when you're painting, it's these are my guys, this is the story my guys have. And usually while you're painting is sometimes when you come up with like a lot of the good story for your guys. For instance, my guys are the reason they've all got different color armor is they're for the warriors anyway. They're like levied troops from like surrounding areas, like little houses, and their families just happen to be sort of sworn to the local dwarf king or thane or whoever it is it's called in the battle. So there are for the warrior class guys, like the actual warriors, the quarrelers, the thunders, and stuff like that. They're not like an organized military. They're just sort of like levied troops that get rallied out. They're called to war. And that's why their armor's like so sort of piecemeal, is to represent the different clans coming together to fight together. And then I like having the shields be, all the shields are blue, because that's like the unifying factor. That's the mark of their local king or their lord that they're fighting for. It's a nice little way to, at least to me anyway, I think it's a nice little way to give a little bit of backstory to your army just through the painting process. It's always fun. It is just going to be that one guy. I'm going to have to dirty another brush just to go under his legs. But such is life. I think a bunch of the unpainted ones have that. He has that same beard, he has that same beard. So I'll have to do it 2 more times for those guys anyway, but if I was being really expedient, I could base those unpainted boyos too, but focus what's on your plate. Oh. Definitely hit something that wasn't the base there, but I don't know what it was. Any brown, so we'll just go on. Might have been his beard. Little Gingerman's beard. Okay, so next, after I get this other guy's base finished, next will be the wash for the beards and the hair. Because I picked all sort of yellow, brown, and orange, we can use the brown wash, and it should work quite well. Try that. There we go. And then we'll get our, what's the one? Yeah. There we go. Most of the time you'll find that you don't really spend too much time going bigger than the 1 or the 0 brush that you have, and like your little brush sets. Really, they sort of pick out as much detail as they need. I only ever use the 2 if it's like a big area that you're going over. The larger ones they hold the paint for washes better, so in a nice big large brush sort of makes that way quicker. You don't have to keep refilling like every stroke almost. There we go. So pick out as much of that as we can. Doesn't really matter. You stand on top of it, so it's sort of hard to see. There we go. So that's the base done. So now it's time for the wash. Should we use this nice big brush? Oh. Yeah, I thought that might happen a couple of times. If I punch the lead, that might happen, so apologies. Unavoidable. It will happen as I, move about. I need to clean the little charging port on my phone. And I'm kind of scared to do the glue thing, like where you get like a little squirt of hot glue, put it in, and then pull it out, because I'm so worried that one, the heat from it might, fuck up my phone. Or even like, I don't know. I'm just too worried about it. So we're going to use an Agrax Earthshade, so it's the nice brown tone. And we're going to be a little liberal with this, just on the beards. I used a bit too much there, so we're going to get a little off our brush, by rubbing it under the thumb. And just go catch the puddle that we put on that was too big. And this will really make sorry, I put it back in shot here. I'm not actually like painting anything, so this is like a really watered down. If you don't know what a wash is, it's really watered down. Pretty much just water with some like, this is brown, so some slight brown paint in it. And that'll go into the recesses, so the little, like the finer areas of the beard hair. You can see there, hopefully, show up. It's maybe not showing up, but it'll fill into the recesses. It'll make it look a lot richer, and it'll darken the color as well. So it'll add like a brown layer, pretty much, to it. But because we're doing brown, yellow, and orange, it'll actually just darken them. It won't look brown. It'll just look like dark orange or dark yellow or darker brown. So having good knowledge on the color of wash you're using can really help you get a wider variety of colors on your minis. And it is the nickname for washes is liquid skill, and I would agree. This is like the easiest way to get a lot of detail work out of your minis. And the trick is definitely knowing what color to use. So the most popular one is Null Oil, which is a black wash. And it works with every color. So if you're ever unsure, just do Null Oil. There are tricks you can do with some of these washes. So Agrax is a really good one. If you want to make metal look rusty, you add a little brown. Put a little brown in it. Dip it in shit. Pretty much is the way Agrax Earthshade works. Is just dip it in shit. And that's I don't know if that's a helpful way to remember it or just a very vulgar way to remember it, but hey, it helps me remember. It's how I think about it. If you want armor to look rusty, if you want we're going to use the same on the base as well, because it is quite a good shade for the base. It'll make it look really rich. It'll pick up the stones, so the bottom of the stones will be darker than the top of them, and then whenever we do our highlight on the base, it'll pick it out and look very, very good detailed. I'll show you an example once I get this done. I don't like wasting the time on this because it's a very watery thing and you don't really want that on your brush for a long time because it can fuck it up if it dries. It shouldn't dry because we're sort of adding wet almost every pull. So yeah, the trick with washes is knowing how much to have on your brush at a time, like how much do you need. The thicker the wash, the darker the color will come out. It's maybe obvious, but people don't think about that kind of stuff. We want it thick enough, but not too thick. We're actually going to have to get the Seraphim Sepia, or not Seraphim Sepia, the Agrax out again. Forgot. I should have done the white actually before I did this. Because a couple of these guys have horns on their helmets. So 3 guys have horns, and you use this on it and it makes it look like bone if you do it over white. There's another little trick. You can sort of get colors if you understand color theory a little bit. You can use it to effectively mix paint, dry paint on the model. Changes something's color. I use it a lot. With like white and red. If you ever want like a nice shade of pink, get a nice white base coat and then do one of the red shades over it, and it'll give you, like, depending on how deep a pink or how deep a red you're looking, It actually gives you one of the better shades of red than even the base coat of the paint is. You can use that to skip a lot of steps because you can just base the. If you're really, really lazy, what you could do is you could absolutely just prime your entire army with white paint and then just use washes and speed paints, so the contrast paints, and that would save you so much time. The contrast paints are way better, I think, at the minute. Like the having a white coat and then using the wash is something I did before contrast paints came out. I think I forgot to wash this. So we're just gonna hit this with a little wash, and it'll look different to the other dwarves. So it'll be a little bit more brown than the darker metal, the darker gold color that the rest of the dwarves have. But you can, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, but you can see more of the detail on the beards, the hair, as we go through. This is just a very good step to add if you like painting. It's a very good thing to add in. Your wash coat layer time. This is sort of how I learned how to paint, was base, wash, layer, highlight. And really it hasn't done me wrong. Reliable, looks good. You learn a lot about colors, painting in general from it. Only I could apply that to like digital drawing. Still need to get my little, so I have a little tuber dude, have his head done. I've just been really stubborn and I want to do it all myself. So I want to get his body done. I can't decide what to do for it. This is the Ironforge music. It's appropriate, nice dwarf theme. So yes, that's my next plan for the channel, is to get a little tuber dude to have. And then I'm gonna have to learn how to do Blender properly, but to make a 3D model and rig a tuber dude, because once again I will just, out of pure stubbornness, want to do it myself. It's not like I'm doing too much else anyway, so I may as well. But yeah, look at that. I don't know if that looks great. That like red beard coming in. Nice and dark, nice and strawberry blonde. Sometimes you see these colors in your dreams and you just go, yeah, that's gonna look great. It happened to me more than once. Yeah, 100%. I think part of it is I want to learn how to do it myself, so that way if I ever do decide, oh, I'll just get someone else to do it, I know, like I'll know what they're talking about whenever they're explaining stuff to me. I think I've always been like that. I don't really like other people doing stuff for me. I'll have to get on a call with you later, Kyle, as well. It's been a while since we've had a chat. If you're about this evening, I'll chat to you then, I'm sure. What time is it? Once we get, this is the last guy too, so once we get this guy done, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'll go make a cup of tea, and then we'll pick up less bit, which is actually a good timing because we can let this dry, then come back and just do the white straight away. Quite happy with that ginger. It's coming out quite good. Oh, great minds think alike. That's a sign. Oops, knocked my camera over. All right, so I'm going to take a quick 10-minute break, make a cup of tea, sort something out, and then we'll pick up where we left off. Is this the screen I fucked up? No. Okay. Right. Not be long. Hello. We're back. Yeah, it wasn't a very long thing. I just had to go make sure some stuff was turned off, and then I just made a cup of tea. So, good to go. What did I need to do next? So next is, where did I put the? We weren't done with it. I don't know why I put it away. So we get that same shade we're using. We're just gonna put that onto the bottom, the bases. Make sure I snake my arm in the correct way to not knock out the blade again. Yeah, so same again. Oh, I know what's happened. It's changed my aspect ratio. I'm in 720p. 2 seconds. There we go. It might have been in 720p before, whenever I like whacked the lead out. I might have swapped that around. Whoops. I looked over, I was wondering why the everything was so small in the box. Yeah, so quick, just, this will be quick and dirty. We're not too fussed about the base being like overly detailed. This is more than most people would do for the bases of their minis. I think it adds a lot, so I think it's worth doing, but a nice base sort of brings the, even if you're on like a, obviously I'm going for like a cavern floor in a cave or tunnel or mine. Even if I was like fighting someone on like snow terrain or like a grassy field or something, it would all sort of, having a nice cohesive well detailed base sort of doesn't take you too much out of it, you know. Pardon me. Do 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 do. A bit more. We'll get that little bit there. It sort of got stuck to his cape whenever I was basing him. We're a little bit too close, just a bit further away. It's not like I need detail for this. Oh my goodness, why is this brush? The thirsty brush, it's holding all the water. What's nice about this is there's any like little grey patches on the base that we missed. It's easy to cover because this is a brown paint on a light grey primer. We'll just colour it in nice and grey for us. It'll look a bit weird if you look too close at it because it'll be lighter than the rest of the thing, but your brain will just sort of fill in the blank brown on brown. Yeah, your brain won't notice. We're nearly done. Next is the white, the skin, and the horns. then that's literally these guys done. Once we get that done. Oh well, I guess we technically we have the layer, the highlight to do, but these are just rank and flank, so we don't care too much about doing like a good, like, high detailed layer. I say layer, it is more highlight than layer. Split the brush, thirsty bitch. So yeah, it should be nice and detailed. Or not. There we go. Now she's cooking. She's cooking with petroleum. My god. I'm not too worried if we run out of that tub. I did think I did lose this tub and then find it again later. And then spill half of it on a nice pair of shorts that I ruined forever. We have a backup tub of it. I don't think we're going to run out on these guys. Because we are nearly done. Just the horns to do after this, and then that's done with this. I keep calling it sepia, it's earthshade, it's brown. Sepia is yellow. This should be this should just be what World of Warcraft music is for all the new stuff. I think I'd buy the game again, like the new games. If they had lo-fi background music that you could just chill out and like quest to, like officially in the game. Oh, that's another thing. So there's no WoW stream tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know. I think I might be done with WoW. Just personally, I think the stream I did last week, where like usually I get like 30 or so views, like kind of post the like maybe get like 10 people to show up live and then 30 people watch it later. Last week I think like 7 people watched that last stream. I think it's just because the content that we're doing is just so old. I'm surprised they haven't put it in yet either, to be perfectly honest with you. I know they have like an official, I think on their YouTube page they have like officially some like lo-fi stuff. But that's like not I'm saying like in game rather than like, you know, just on their YouTube channel. So yeah, so last week's WoW stream didn't do too good in like views or like nobody turned up. I don't even think I had like one person watch it live because it's like AQ is just so boring, and Black and Glare has been out for almost a year. So it's like, what are you coming to see? You want to see Nax, but they changed the day on Nax, and I can't go. Really, and I don't, and it's also not even like a guild run anymore. It's a semi-guild pug run. So you're like, what's the point in putting all the effort in all the dumb shit they made me do, all the hoops they made me jump through, paying 150 gold for like, you know, materials and stuff that should have been, that I helped them get, so it should have been free in the first place, and the money doesn't come back like around. It doesn't go, oh yeah, it helps you later on. It's like, no, it helps one very specific group of people in the guild. There's clearly like some sort of racket they're running. They don't care enough anymore about it. They're like, what's the word? They just do pugs now. Like, there's not even enough people. Everybody just sort of left the guild because of, it's just sort of mismanaged. And I just don't want to have to put up with it. So it's like, for the fun you get out of it, the drama that you're putting into it isn't, it isn't worth it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like the reason I'm stopping isn't because a stream didn't do good. The reason I'm stopping is because the content is to me boring. Like because I've done it so much. Like EQ, even whenever it was like relevant, was kind of shit. I'm worried I'm going to put my elbow into this white paint I've put on this palette. So we want to be very. I might actually get a smaller brush, but we want to be very careful with this. I'm going to leave. Who will be the test dummy for this? This guy's grey is kind of well kept, so he'll be a test dummy. Another test dummy. Yours good? Yours is good too. Okay, so these two guys, the brown boys, they'll be test dummies. This guy, yeah, we'll do him the normal way, so you can have a nice solid white. So for the horns, it's actually slightly better to have the white be a little like thinner, because it'll add like, I'm trying to do like a texture with the brush. So there's no way the camera's going to pick it up. It's going to be way too fine. But we want to flick the brush over it so it looks like there's a texture on the horns. So whenever we apply the wash, it'll like just add a little bit of extra detail for us. And we won't have to pick it out too much. You see what I'm doing? One direction, and then you go the opposite way and brush up, and that thins the paint a little bit. Not by a whole lot, but thins it enough. And it'll give the horns the nice like brown. Yeah, absolutely. They have like board and shit. No, you're 100% right. Alright, see you in a bit. Well, I said, so yeah, so the horns and stuff, so we want to just pick out the detail a little bit. And then try and get some brush strokes with the paint. It'll actually add a lot to the details, so I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't bother doing, but we're going to try it. Actually, there's a loose thread here. So we're going to try and get into his eye. Here, I could use my magnifying glass, but I'd have to take it off camera. Because it's white on silver, I'm not too fussed. White and gold would be, yeah, white and gold also wouldn't really look too bad. There we go. So we got a little bit in there. So whenever we apply the wash later, we have to be very careful. Or not the wash, the contrast paint. So those guys are going to test on me the light color with the contrast paint. I think it should still work out to the same skin tone, but it should just be like a slightly more tan or darker skin tone in the same vein. They might look really ugly. That's the only thing. I'm not. This is. Speed paints are a little finicky sometimes. They're a little. They don't want to play ball. We're gonna leave this so there's like a little darker brown bit there on the bottom. We're gonna try and leave as much of that as possible. It'll just look like a natural shadow on his hand. I know this looks weird. Like, why are you going through and just painting white? This will give us the right base for the speed paint to look at the right shade or the right tone of flesh whenever we get through. Making sure we got the right paint there. Back to it. You can get both sides of this guy's face pretty easily. Again, don't be afraid to yell at me if you're missing anything. Try to keep it focused to where I can see and where you guys can see. Yeah, I've been really happy with how these doors have been coming along. I'm a bit worried. So the next lot that I have to do is iron breakers. I have no clue what I'm going to do for them. They're like the next big load of rank and flank guys I've got to get through. And these iron drakes too. They're going to be slightly easier. I think I just do them silver. They don't have shields and their guns look nice with it. Yeah, I think I'll even just do a silver base coat over them. I have the silver, it's not silver base coat, silver primer over them. That'll save so much time. Part of being good about painting is you just have to get to the point where you go, what is the acceptable level of cheat that you're happy with? Some people don't like airbrushing, some people think you should only do brush techniques and you should never use a wash. Some people think you shouldn't use metallic paints. You always try to do non-metallic metals. I don't know. It's just everybody has their own little Bushido code that they do. For painting, and not always necessary. I think it's just my personal philosophy, my personal Bushido is just find the level that you find acceptable. Find out the easiest way to do that level of painting, and then do it. There's really no more, no less. Like everybody should enjoy it their own way. It might be a bit annoying, so I think I'll have him just. I'll have three flesh tone dudes and 3 weird tone dudes. See how it comes together. In the words of the Beatles. So what I will do next, because we need the white to make sure the white's dry, though it should be dry already. Yeah. The quicker the paint, the quicker it dries generally. As in, the less water there is, the more water you have, the longer it takes to dry. There's also sort of like general atmosphere in the room, though this room's quite cold, so you get quite a lot, close to like the maximum amount of time it takes for it to dry. So I'm happy with that. So you could even just leave the horns white, and it wouldn't be too kind of weird looking, but but I like the bone look for the horns. I am hyped for TBC and WoW though. Whenever TBC Classic Plus or whatever the anniversary thing for TBC will come out. I hope they do it. I don't know if it's been confirmed whether they're going to do it. Everybody seems to think that they're doing it. I'm faction hopping and server hopping, so I'm going on to PvE realm and I'm doing Horde instead of Alliance. Just because Alliance is such a... There's like so much extra layers of faff on the Alliance. Whereas Horde is like way simpler a lot of the time. Just for doing stuff, so... And TBC has a lot of like grindy shit in it. It isn't very fun. But hey, I don't know if we're gonna get to the raiding bit of it, but I might stream some leveling stuff for my priest that I've got, level 58. Just to see how it comes out. Right, so this is a contrast paint called Gilliman Flesh. I want to see how it looks on this grey. Got 3 guys. We're gonna try it on. Might end up looking like zombies. That's the only thing. I know for I practiced it on zombie flesh a bunch, and I know it looks good on them for like dry, desiccated, dead skin tones. This is a slightly lighter shade of grey, so I don't know what this will look like on my little dwarfies. You know, only really one way to find out is to test a guy. Don't think it's working very well, to be honest. We'll let that dry. Bugger, we'll let that dry, and then I'll paint the white on the other 2 guys that we missed, because I don't like that. It's annoying. We use a Vallejo. I like Vallejo white. I think Vallejo white is better mixed than Citadel's white shades. Plus, Vallejo white and black let you mix colors really easily on your palette, because they're obviously little squirt bottles. Just put a little one to one is very easy to sort of plan out with them. If you plan on doing a lot of your own color mixing, Vallejo is absolutely the way to go. It's cheaper, mostly. I missed the fucking thing. Yeah, Vallejo is the way if you want to do color mixing yourself. It is not bad at all. I don't hate it. Would recommend it. Yeah, I do not like the way that flesh tone is coming off on that other guy. I just looked there. Rough. Which is unfortunate, but again, the only way you really get it is by trying, getting a sense of what you like. We could keep his lip grey, because I actually think that might look nice. Yeah, that is not nice. Not bad for lips, but I don't think I want their whole bodies to be that colour. Damn, I was hoping that you'd save a whole bunch of faffing about. But, alas, wasn't to be. Primer's just a little too dark for it to look good. And there's one more, yeah, this guy. Not going to worry too much about him, because we can get his flesh tone up a bit. He'll just be a little funny looking on the table, but you know, sometimes your test pieces just, you know, don't work out. You know, work out sometimes, and that's just the way it is. Always easy to undo it. If you want to just strip it all down and start again. Personally, I don't mind putting, as long as it's not too jarring, I don't mind putting the test piece out with everything else that's finished. Hello! Welcome back. You missed me testing a paint there. I do not like the way it looks, so we're going back over just to get the other grey guys. Make them white instead of grey. And get as much of this guy's face as we can. Got a thick beard, most of his fucking head. That's as good as we're gonna get on him. The rest will just look like it's in shadow, which is fine. Just break some. Sounded like I broke something. Okay. Yeah, this guy, the flesh didn't come out quite as good on him as it does on the other guys. It's not as it's drying, it's looking a lot better. but I don't like it, so we're not keeping it. So while we wait for that white to dry, we will finish off with the Seraphim Sepia. Agrax Arciad, I don't know why I keep doing that. I think I just like the name Seraphim Sepia. Where's my big brush? You're my big brush, right? So we just get these guys' horns done. So the way I find for this is it's generally easier to start tip, and then you want to pull a lot at the bottom. That. So you just want to drag all the water down, all the paint down to the bottom, and try and get as much of it pulling down there as possible. We want to look like a horn that you would find in the on display, where it's white at the tip and then darker to the bottom. It's generally the style I prefer. Again on this side, so grab that, pull it down, grab it, pull it down, put it on the tip, grab it, pull it down. That sounds dirty. That is the way you do it. Put it on, grab it. Put it on, grab it. Oh, the white's coming off. Dried quite completely. So we need to wait a second before we can do the next bit. Finish this guy up. It'll look a bit weird because the paint's going to mix with the white now. The glaze is going to mix in with the white. But there's not a lot I can do about that. I just want to make it look symmetrical. But it isn't correct. His should be dry because I think I did his horns a while ago. I can do the dry brushing, I suppose. No, you know what? We'll do the armor. Go over the actual layer for the armor now. Doesn't take too long. Alright. That's why we wait for that white paint to dry on their hands and faces. So, start with the color I hate, the yellow. Have a sip of tea. Oh, we're done with this. Always make sure you close your paint tubs because that's how you ruin a good pair of shorts. By knocking over your glazes. Spilling half the tub on your... all over yourself. We could probably use a 1 actually because I'm sort of getting annoyed with the 0. It should be small enough to get the detail that we need. Make sure that's got a nice tip. And then, in we go. Dollop of water on it. This is just layering, so it's just, we just want to pick out like the edges. Anywhere where there's light hitting. Just edge it in. Yellow is a pain in the ass. Then just along the bottom, apply a nice little highlight. When this dries, we don't want it too thick. We don't want to overtake the bottom. There, we want it to sort of come through a bit. Nice, sort of. There, that should do. So this is my favorite color combo, is the blue and yellow. It's the old, the Battle for Skull Pass. This is the way the dwarves are painted for that. That's always just stuck in my head as the way you should paint dwarves. Obviously I've added like a couple extra things in here just to sort of differentiate it out a bit, but on the Instagram I do have my original dwarf army and it is more or less this color scheme. There you go. That's it yet. So we just do that for anybody who has yellow on them. So the jackets, the little coats that they've got on, the little shirts. What we want to do is just sort of hit the bits where maybe hard to see on the camera, but the cloth folds, like they've modeled the cloth folding. Anywhere where the cloth will be tight, I'm gonna just add in a little like light layer yellow on that, and just sort of stripe, like sort of feather it down and in, and then try and have like streaks, and then anywhere where the cloth would be pulled tight, you want to do this. So here again, you want to have like a little just area there. Sort of like it's straining, and when that dries, that'll look nice. That'll look like he's stretching cloth, so they've got the dark folds, sort of lighter areas where the cloth's bunching and being stretched. That's the way you should sort of think whenever you're coming across your layer. I have quite a dark, my preferred sort of way to do it is a darker style. I think sort of like, not to get too nerdy into it, but the artist that did a lot of the concept art, John Blanche, is probably one of my biggest inspirations for just sort of the style of this. So I like his darker tones, like the dirty, grimy kind of way of doing it. So having like a way, so the way my style has evolved is towards that. So hence doing the glaze over the full armor suit, or the full model, rather than just only hitting the recesses. Don't have any yellow on them. I tend not to highlight the yellow beards because I think it looks good dark and brown like that. Did miss a bit of his beard there poking out. I could highlight it with the base, so it would look like a little darker. But again, really, I might tidy that bit up, just put a base coat on it so it looks like he's got a bit of like lighter hair poking out. But it's not something I'm too fussed on, realistically. So I know the shadow's gonna be in the way, but he's got a little bit of his armor poking through there. Also, it's a good idea not to do what I did here and have a blonde guy who is yellow, touching yellow. Makes it it's a little muddy. But we just want to, again, anywhere where the light's hitting him, just imagine like light, like the sun, he's outside or something. Generally, I know most people pick like, oh, the light comes from here, and then they do it, but and the better way to think of it is maybe like think of like the open areas where he isn't like covered, he doesn't have like an arm or a beard covering up. This guy's sleeve needs done. That's it. And then this guy's got armor trim. He's unfortunately got the least. Oh no, he wouldn't have any. He'd be blue. Yeah, he's blue. He's no yellow on him. This is the last guy here. You see how dark it's almost a shade of like a light brown. That's how that ginger or orange has come out. Which is good. I'm glad we got something tested that actually worked today. Yeah, just bunches up there. I never really understood light sources too much in terms of mini painting. I know why you do it whenever you're actually like painting, but when you're doing like a miniature, you're trying to imagine like the light source hitting it from a certain angle. It's a miniature in the 3D world. I don't think you have to imagine light hitting it from a certain angle because you can lift it and move it about. So the better way is to think of like, I think stress on clothing, if you do edge highlighting, it sort of emphasizes that what you're looking at is a hard or shiny object. Whereas if you do what I'm doing here, it'll make the clothes look like they're soft. And well made, because they're not, there's no like cross hatching or anything. Whenever I do like rougher fabric, I can show you here, but you do something like this where you like highlight down and give like a different angle so it looks like it's getting caught. But that would be for like rougher fabrics like jute or linen. or well, rough linen. These are probably fine linen, like undershirts that they're wearing. And that's it for yellow. Oh no, hold on. One guy should have. I do his. I did. Okay. Just gonna grab this while I remember that guy whose beard is under his shield and not painted. Apologies if the paint talk isn't overly thrilling, but it is something I do enjoy. Okay. This beard's just gonna be funny on that side, but that's nothing I'm gonna worry about. Did I miss it on any other beardy boys? No. No, okay, he was the only one that had. That's why I missed it. Oh. Yeah, and then we'll just keep on keeping on. So next is the blue. So same trick again. For the green. Whoops. Punched the phone. You know, that might be slightly more level than it was before. Sorry. I didn't mean to punch you in the back of the head. In our little ghost reenactment. That was my bad. So blue and yellow, I think, are the only two. Let me just move that because I'm really getting paranoid about getting white paint in my arm. So they're the only ones where we're going to worry about the cloth being bunched up on the green, because green's such a dark color naturally, you actually wouldn't even notice it, really, the same way. I know it doesn't make sense, that maybe doesn't make any sense, but trust me, I've tried highlighting the green stuff and you barely notice it with the paint. I've actually, here's a good example. I've sort of fucked up a paint there, so we're just going to cover that up with the layer. The blue we do slightly differently, so we can like very lightly just sort of get a little couple threads going over that way. But we don't have to worry too much about it the same way that yellow does, because again the background is so dark with blue, with the blue that we used anyway, that we only really have to focus on the raised areas. Like the areas where it is taut, and then we can just like lightly with the brush pull paint from one side to the other. Then we can actually even cross a little bit across like that. Generally a flatter or smaller brush is a little easier to do this with. This is maybe not the right brush, but that other one is nearly dead. So yeah, just pull up like that and that'll make a nice little fabric-y look to the armor. This guy's got blue trim on his armor. This is just an example here. So we really just want to focus on the edges. Make it look like this is hard. And pull it down, because it is like a leather covering for his armor edges. Oops. Sorry, it was off camera there. Yeah. Again, just focus on the edge. You go over, it's okay, don't worry. I go over all the time. And you're just trying to make it look slightly harder, and then you want to go just to make it look like there's scratches on the leather and the paint. If you're doing really hardcore, what you could do is whatever shade of leather that you've decided to use for like the raw leather or like the uncolored brown leather, is you could have like a dry brush and dry brush some of that on too. These bits just to make it look like the leather's they've been hurt or like attacked and the leather's sort of broken, or even just wear and tear and the leather's poking through. But I always think that's a bit extra. Like it's just a bit too much effort, IMO. I think it's okay that your fantasy guys are like somewhat fresh whenever you're painting them. I know I said like a grimier look, but I'm trying to create an illusion, so I'm not going to be too fussed if not like 100% realistic, if you know what I mean. Yeah, same again, just make the edge, pick up the edge, make it look like it's harder than the cloth of the other guys. Again, not having blue armor and blue cloth on one dude is another way to sort of help with this. It sort of breaks up the monotony of your rank and file, having all these colors. At least that's the goal for me, anyways, to sort of break it up a bit. Whenever you look at it, it looks, you know, like they're from an actual world. This may be gibberish, I don't know. Unfortunately, you're getting a stream of consciousness. Just very lightly go across, give some scratches. Mild battle damage, some wear and tear from years. There we go. I'm happy with that. This guy's got blue sleeves, so again, very lightly. Anywhere where it would stress, and then draw this. Just follow the sort of direction his arm is going, and that sort of mimics the stress on the fabric. And then if you do sort of thinnish lines, it just looks like the light's going through like a cloth shoulder pad or something. And again on this side. Where it's bunched up is where we want to focus. Where the cloth would be sort of pulled tight. Where we want to put the paint. And there we go. It's another little fella. So, again, I don't know if it's shown up too well in the camera. Differentiation between the blues. But it should just make it look like it is. He's wearing like a cloth shoulder pad or cloth Under Armour, and it's getting pulled tight with his muscles and his movement. I don't know why I refreshed the paint because I actually don't think this guy's blue. So we just pull down on the edge. Again, we want to focus mostly on the bottom because that's sort of the bit where most of the light would hit. And same here, just pull down on the bottom. Now, I actually just remembered that the shields are blue, so I need to go back and cover some of the shield details. But again, not like we're done with the blue or anything, so because there's more light shown there, we can sort of just very lightly hash it up. So I'll just start with this guy. I just want to tidy up where the golds went over. This brush is dry. So just covering up some of the mistakes from when we were basing. Luckily, most of the mistakes I made were in the right area. I don't know. Again, the camera might not pick up this. It's quite fine. But it's where the gold from the rim of his shield sort of got over onto the blue. You just want to cover that. This is sort of the trick, is use your layering phase to cover up a lot of your earlier mishaps with the paint. Let's get it back. And then again, we just want to cover up this. Oh, it's a nice little shield. And this guy has a bit of gold along the rim. So on the shields, it's just sort of the light would hit. So you want to do your highlight at the top. Mostly you can do all around. You could just color the whole thing your layer color. And it won't really make too much of a difference. Just giving the illusion that these guys are frozen in time. Pick them up. Most of your layer to be up there, and then you can just start again. Because this is like, I'm not 100%. I think this is maybe like a leather. Blue's like a leather bit that they've put over the shield. But again, it's very watery. And we're just touching it up, tidying. Just want to lightly mix it a little there. I don't want to go the whole way around, but nice little tidy mix. nice thin coat at the bottom, and you go over the top again, and it'll make it look nice and bright. Oh yeah, that's that guy's shield coming out. We've tidied up a mistake. We're going some 2 more of these just to tidy up. Whilst I remember with the blue is a good shout in my head. If I did these the other way, so the blue would go over the. I did the blue second. And these, so the trim need to be too focused. I'm gonna get so the lighter areas at the top. Then the gold was second, so there's a bit of gold there. It just got covered up. A mistake, I mean. And there we go, that's his shield done. There we go. So yeah, we just want to focus the color at the top for these, for the shields. And this is the last little bit of blue that we need to get done here. Ten to 5. Probably go just a little longer. Color green. At least get the skin started. We won't get finished today. I'll probably just tidy these guys up off stream, but I think we've made some pretty good progress. That's sort of from base coat to layer. On 6 dudes is pretty good. Where's my tea? There's my tea. So, last bit's the green. So the green, I'm not going to bother with the green on the cloth because it's unnoticeable. But we are going to edge highlight a little bit with it. So there's my one. It is. This paint. Let's. I have 2 of these. I think I do. I think I might have grabbed the older one, but I think it's still, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we just want to do edge highlighting with this because it's sort of a shit color. The same color as my Dark Angels, but for whatever reason, it always turn out way darker. Yeah, this paint's fucked. Hold on. Any paint in this tub? Okay, there is. Right. Sorry, I have to focus quite hard to get that. So, there we go. A bit too thick. I'm gonna take that and tidy it up a little teeny tiny bit. There too. The green is just, unfortunately, I'm just covering that with my hands. Sorry. Green's just, I don't really want to play ball. I'm usually quite good with green. Whatever it is here, just never really seems to want to play ball for some reason. And the last green is this. But again, the green isn't too. The base coat dark green is just so nice. The lighter stuff just doesn't matter too much, and then we just even that spark of light there. Tidy it up a bit. A capeless dwarf, so he is back. Did I grab that other green? I did. I do that bit off screen. The cloaks. There's a bit of brown from the base there, so that up. And just the sharp edges here. A lot of like sharp. This just to sort of give, again, you do this to make it look like it's hard or like it's a harder material. Also, you can see his horns coming through. Got these nice bone colored horns now instead of the white. So I'm quite happy with that. Right, so that's the last of the green bit done. I'll finish off the flesh. Since their armor done, their clothes done, flesh will get done, and their beards are done. There's a bit more highlighting we can do to the beard, but I think I will just do the skin. Then that'll be that. And by do the skin, I mean get this contrast paint on. Again, I did mean to start the stream earlier today, but I did just get a bit held up sorting out my car insurance. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and things never go your way. Right, so this will be quite weird looking. The more I look at that guy's skin, the less it annoys me. The test guy. The paint dried as maybe the paint was just a bit too wet. But I love the way this comes out off of white. Like, look at him transform just from white flesh into nice pink dwarf skin. I really like how light and pale comes off, because it does give the impression that these are dwarves that live like deep underground and they don't see a lot of sunlight. They've got this quite nice pallid complexion. And again, because this guy's got a brown beard, we're not too worried. But look at that, that's some transformation there. Yeah, the camera maybe isn't picking it up quite as well. I think need a better light. I think just to sort of pick stuff out a little better. We're getting there. I'm quite happy with these streams. They're very, very relaxing. They're easy to, relatively easy to set up. It's a bit more easy experience with it. Getting into the habit of moving it here so people can see what the fuck I'm doing, rather than where it's comfortable. We're getting there. Look at that. Look at that. Coming together. Just as it gets a little thinner, they do get like paler skin because there's not that much paint on the brush. But this contrast paint is so good. Gilliman Flesh. Probably the best flesh tone paint. If you want like white skin. What I found for the other tones is if you want like a, because I have some Infinity armies, and one of them is the Japanese army in Infinity. So to do like Asian skin tones, it's a little easier if you, instead of this Gilliman Flesh, using one of the wash or the shades flesh tones. I can't remember exactly. I have it written down somewhere, but I can't remember exactly which one it is. I think it's the Reichland Flesh shade is the one. If you do a white base coat with that on top, the skin tone comes a little bit more an Asian complexion. So it's quite good for doing the Japanese that way. Definitely, this definitely, if you want like a paler skin tone, this on white is the one I pick. I use this for my dark elves too. So this guy, I think I missed his face with the white, so he's going to unfortunately have the darker complexion that young man over there has. The transformation's quite good. Focus this a bit. I think I just have it too close. The autofocus is messing up. It thinks you want to really look at my knuckles instead of my miniatures. It'd do a set focus, I guess, but then I'd have to remember where to hold the model every time. We'll see how his face comes out. It's such a small amount of flesh showing on his face. Whoops. Sorry, I'm decking in the head again. Need to change the leg support on this. Hold on. think you might be at a slight angle, but I'm sorry about that. So stop me punching you in the head. Go. That side of his face can be a little dark. And it's a red tone, so putting it on gold is no issue. You will not notice that at all. You might think, look at this and think that's red. Yes, it is. An almost brown shade of red. And there. Side. Make sure we got his thumb. Sides. There we go. That is flesh done. So these are pretty much done. The only thing left to do is dry brush the base. So here's an actual full finished guy. So get me, was he? He's a blue boy. So the only bits I have left to do. So the one on the left, this guy, finished completely. I have to highlight the axe. So I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but his axe, his blade, I do a light silver so it looks sharp. This guy's axe doesn't have it, so it doesn't look as shiny. The horns on the other guys need the bone color, so just a little bit of bone. The base, so where do I put it there? Maybe, I don't know. It might not focus on. Yeah, it doesn't know what to focus on. The base is some stones that need picked up with a dry brush, so that's the next bit. We got the armor trim done. The leather trim. So this guy's little back bit has like some of that leather highlighted on it. This guy has a little leather satchel that needs to be highlighted up. His axe, I think the guy who bought this off snipped that and like glued it back on wrong. One thing they all need is they have these little bits here on their helmet. Oh, I'll get a brush. These little bits like here, which are like gems that they've got. He's got one too, like that little circle. You can see a little circle there. So I need to go over with the gem colors. So I have blue and red gems. So nice ruby sapphire gems in their helmets, and then some of them have them on their weapons. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. And then the beards need to be gone over just with a lighter color, just to pick out some highlights. So the brown bearded fellas will kind of get beards more like this. But yeah, I'll do that in my own time off stream. And then I've got 6 more warriors to paint, so I don't know what to do. I might get them up to this stage, these guys here, up to this sort of stage here, and continue on next week with these guys and just show you that on stream. And then that'll be last for the warriors, I think. I have their command to do. I have like a banner bearer, a champion, and a musician to do. But they need, because they're the command, they need slightly more attention than these guys do. This is believe it or not the least amount of attention I pay on minis is the rank and flank of the squad. And then the sort of the command structure. So like the banner bearer, you have this, like, it's not a great example, but it is just like, so you have 3 models that are always usually a bit more detailed. So you'd have like your champion, your unit standard, and your musician. So I have these 3 for these guys, which are different models. So they need to get done. That's it. And then that's that squad done. That's 20 warriors all finito. And then when I get them done, I've got these guys to do. The king on the shield to do, which I'm really excited for. I've always wanted a shield bearer, king on shield bearers, and the new model for them is absolutely class. I don't really remember if there was an old one, like an official old model. I think most people just made their own king on shield bearers. Never had the confidence to do it, but this model is class. I love it. I'm excited to paint that. But the weather hasn't been good enough for me to go out and spray paint these yet, so they might just go into the bucket of I'll do it whenever I can spray paint stuff and then build up my elves. So I've got this is the next army that I'm planning is wood elves. So you can see I got this green stuff and I've got it like a rolling pin that you just roll over it and I can get these like cobblestone looks to it, which I think will look quite nice. And then just sort of like a generic. I don't think I have any grand plans for like cavern themes or anything for these guys, but the sort of idea is to make it look like a ruined path through a forest floor or something like that. But it takes a bit of effort just to get these bases done. So I'll probably just need a day just to make the bases and then actually build the models and stuff, and just I can just come up the whole army all sorted up that way. This is my next project. Yeah, I think it's coming together quite well. There's just the leaders for it. But yeah, finishing off these warriors, and then I've got a couple more of a gyro bomber to paint, and then an engineer to paint, and a bolt thrower to paint, and that's it for everything that is base coated and ready to paint. So I might next week, I might just do these guys and finish these guys and do these guys in my own time. And then next week instead do the... Oh yeah, I'm excited to do those elves. Then yeah, so next week I might do the gyro bomber. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, I might do this guy next week. Just for a bit of more. You can see how to focus on one sort of big-ish model. This is quite a large, like you can see it's like 5 inches or so. Yeah, I might do this. This is a good one. I know what color I want it to be. I know the date, so no plan for that. So that'll be easy enough. I showed off the base for it earlier, but there's the gyrocopter. So it won't be green, it'll be red instead, but the same sort of color idea for him. So nice sort of maroon colored leather on the seat in. Or do a different beard color for the guy. The mechanisms and stuff will all be the same. Green shields are quite nice. I might do that for the iron breakers. With that, because they will have the iron breakers will have a similar kind of pattern on their shields, so that might look really good. Copper colors? I have no clue. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. So a little shorter. This maybe similar sort of time to last week. But yeah, I think I'll just start getting into the habit of doing this on. Oh, Koopa colors. Ah, yes, yeah. I get you. What was it, Sam? Yeah, I think I'll just do this. Get into the habit of doing this on Tuesday. I need to get through painting stuff. This is sort of giving me the motivation to get stuff on stream done and then off stream finishing and tidying. So yeah, I think this will be a regular feature. I'll get a little thumbnail done up for it. I like the name, Paintacular. And yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah. Catch me next week again for another stream. Hopefully I'll start a little earlier, hopefully about 2, half 2 sort of time aim for. And yeah, I'll chat to you later, Kyle, if you're about. And yeah, I'll catch everybody else next week. I think I'm going to make a move towards, because I'm getting away from WoW anyway, I may as well just sort of make a move towards more edited stuff, more edited videos, so come up with an idea. I have a couple ideas actually that I just need to get some stuff filmed for, so that could be good. We might see that more in the future. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.